Oh. Hi, everybody. Jeff, can you hear me okay? Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I had you. I have everybody muted as they come on, so perfect. I'm trying to see who we have here. I'm going to, let's see. Let's see. I want to see if Lynn and Lynn, are you here? Oh, let's see. I've got to try to. Hey, Jeff, can you unshare your screen for a moment?
Unshare it.
Yeah. Thanks. That way I can see everybody. We have a chat over on the right side, and I want to make sure everybody should be muted except for Jeff, of course, and Lynn will be showing up here in a minute periodically, and Alan. Alan, I'm unmuting you. I think you can unmute yourselves. So once Lynn gets on, I'll remind him if I could see him. We're getting a lot of people. Wow. Nice group today.
Big group.
Yeah. So, Alan. Hi, Alan.
Hi, Becky.
So anyway, hi, everybody. It's so nice to have several. Oh, Denise. Hi, Denise. It's nice to see a bunch of people I haven't seen on this before. So we're really glad you're here. I'm not sure how many of you are with I Take the Lead members. I know we get this out on Meetup. It goes out on social media, so we get people from all around the country, sometimes around the world, believe it or not. But Jeff May is one of our I Take the Lead members. He's been a member for a number of years. And he's going to be kind of sharing his story and some techniques as to what you can do, especially for I Take the Lead members, what you might be able to do, what changes you might be able to implement that's going to help you not only be able to get more leads, but probably give leads. I know Jeff's also a big lead giver. But I want to wait to make sure that Lynn is going to be able to get on here because he's helping me MC this. I don't see him yet. And people are coming on. So we are going to just, I'm checking to see. I haven't heard from him. So I imagine he'll be coming on soon. But for those of you who have never heard of I Take the Lead, we are a leads group organization based out of Portland. Alan, you want to raise your hand? Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Alan actually has taken over Colorado. He's the go-to guy for Colorado, and Gene couldn't be on it today. He's my business partner. We're both based out of Portland, but right now he's handling Seattle. So we are a leads group organization where there's one person per profession in each of our groups. And we have meetups in Florida. We have a meetup in Arizona. I'm trying to think, San Diego, Las Vegas, and I think there's one more. So when we go to those areas, a lot of times we'll have an in-person meetup. And so we invite people from there to come onto our networking webinars. We do these periodically. They're always Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And not every Tuesday, but we just do them periodically to let people learn how, I have a cat too, to improve their networking skills. And so we like to do that. We open it to the public. Everybody's always welcome to come on. I just met Catherine the other day, so welcome, Catherine. Glad you could make it. And there's Lynn. Lynn, are you gonna get a headset on?
Oh, good. I always forget that. Yeah, I'll go grab one. Hang on.
Okay. I'll mute you, and when I see you come back, I'll unmute it. So, but we're really excited to have Jeff May speaking. He's one of our membership coordinators. How long have you been a membership coordinator, Jeff?
I think 4 years now.
4 years. Has that all? It seems longer.
Seems like
I mean,
forever.
yeah. Hey, oh, Trish Barkley's on here too. Very good. Yeah. So Jeff, but you've been a member of I Take the Lead longer than 5 years, haven't you?
Since 2012, I believe.
Okay. So
Yeah.
this is your 6th year. So,
Yeah.
okay. Very nice. Very nice. And I'm just waiting for, oh, there's Lynn. Okay. He's got his headset. So I'll unmute him. So, so anyway, well, I'm excited to have Jeff speak with us today. He did this 2 or 3 years ago, and I've been sharing it with our groups, but it's, as you know, it's always much better to be able to be in person because you'll have an opportunity to ask questions. For those of you who are I Take the Lead members, I recommend this highly, that every I Take the Lead member gets on here and learns really how to make the best use of I Take the Lead. Jeff belongs to other networking groups as well, and so regardless of where you're coming from, I think you'll gain some great tips and techniques from Jeff. So Jeff, I'll let you take it away. So thank you very much. You can go ahead and share your screen and everything now.
Okay.
But I do want to mention that over here on the right, we should be able to have a place where people can ask questions if you need to. But we'll have Jeff kind of stop now and then to see if anybody has any questions. So Jeff, go ahead.
You'll just have to remind me, Becky.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
As you know, I get going and forget to stop. So
Yeah.
welcome,
Absolutely.
and Happy New Year to everybody. I'm really excited to be here today, and thanks, Becky, and everybody else for inviting me on today to share just a few minutes with you about my experiences with networking and maybe how you can get your year started off a little bit differently and a little bit hopefully better than maybe what it's been in the past. Now, I know most of us are doing networking and maybe we have questions about it. And as I go, like Becky said, if there's a question, either jot it down or put it up on the screen there so you can see it. And we'll come back and talk about that, or stop me. Becky, hopefully you can stop me. Sometimes she can't. I get going. Okay. So I want to tell you just a little bit about my story and how I got to where I am today. You know, the big thing in my world, I've got 2 screens here and I'm on the wrong one. Hang on. There we go. You know, one of the big things that I found coming into networking was figuring out why I was doing networking. And it's really some basic things that I think all of us would enjoy to have in our business. You know, we want to build a local database, and that local database can be so important for those of us that do business with the local people. Now, if you're out there doing stuff on the internet, that's totally different, right? I don't know how to do that. That's not my thing. I am a local database guy. I'm an insurance agent. I deal with people usually within a radius of about 100 miles of where I live. And I really want to find people who will refer to me, people who will come back time and time again and say, hey, Jeff's my guy. Here, go to him for your insurance needs. So building a local database is a big deal, and it's one of those things that we really try to do in our businesses. And then the second half of that is I want to find people that I can refer to. And those complementary businesses, those people that are partners in business that I can refer to. You know, I have people I sold insurance policies to 5 years ago that still call me up. Had one call me right before Christmas. He said, my dentist retired. Do you know a good dentist? You know, we don't necessarily have a dentist in any of my networking groups, but I do know a few. So it was nice to be able to do that. So building that business that way is really what you're doing is you're creating a sales team. You're creating a group of people that you meet with on a regular basis that become your sales force. Now, a lot of us can't afford to have our own sales force, right? We're out there going, I'm a lone person. I'm starting my business out. This is new. I can't pay thousands of dollars to bring somebody on or split commissions or anything else, but I want to have a sales team. I want to have people out there. By networking in a small group of people like I Take the Lead, you can build some great salespeople for your business. You know, when you refer to somebody, you're giving them the highest compliment that you possibly can give them, and you're selling for them. And if you do it right, they're going to sell for you too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, another important thing as we're starting out our businesses or growing our business is to have a group of people we can put things out on and get a little feedback. You know, I didn't start out doing today what I was doing 5 years ago. Things have changed in my life. And a lot of those changes came as I went to my I Take the Lead group and said, hey guys, what do you think? How do you feel about this? If I use this as my elevator pitch, how would that sound? You know, having that board, those 5, 7, 12 people that you can go to on a regular basis that like you, that trust you, and more importantly, want to help you build your business is really important. So networking is a great way to do that, to have that group of folks that really support you in what you're doing. And then, of course, I think most of us, if not all of us, we're scared of public speaking, right? They say the two biggest fears are public speaking and speaking in front of people. Well, public speaking is a big fear for most of us. When you go before a small group of people and you speak on a regular basis in a 10, 15-minute presentation, you get better at doing it. That's number one. But secondly, you understand what works and what doesn't work. You can open yourself up to that group of friendly people that will tell you that, hey, that doesn't work. Don't say it that way, or don't look that way, or put on the tie, or whatever the case might be. Maybe take off the tie, right? But it helps you become better at what you're doing by becoming better at presenting. Public speaking in a group of 5 people is different than a group of 500 people, but it gets you going in the right direction, right? Because that's what we really want to do. We want to be able to present ourselves in front of people to build our business. And finally, probably one of the most important reasons I know in my business, I can spend thousands of dollars a month buying leads. When I look at that experience, and I started out that way, when I started in the insurance business, I started buying leads and I'm getting 1 out of 100, 1 out of 150 that are buying from me. I'm dumping way more money into the business than I'm getting out of the business.
Well, not only that, wasn't it a time suck kind of?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
curious. Oh, okay,
No,
okay.
you buy 100 leads a week, you got to call 100 leads a week, right?
Oh, wow.
Everybody's buying that same list.
That's right.
Yeah.
You may have 5 or 6 or 7 other people that are quicker on the dial than you are, and they're going to get it. You're not.
Wow.
But you spend thousands and thousands of dollars. My first year in insurance, before I started doing what I'm doing today, I spent $20,000 in advertising.
Wow.
Way more than I made doing what I was doing. So, you know, we're looking at a way to have a reasonable cost, maybe $1,000 or so a year, to go out there, advertise for ourselves, get people to know us, and get those folks that will build your business for you. Well, a little bit more about me. I just want to tell you a little bit about what happened. And maybe some of you can relate to this, maybe hopefully some of you don't. But in 2012, I ended a 3-year contract with a fairly large company that was paying me a lot of money. I got to that point and I said, I need to do something different. I've been through 3 either downsizing or business closings in 5 years. And every time that happened, it was reinvent yourself, go to work for a new corporation, be a corporate manager of some sort. And in my business, where I was in sales, it meant traveling a lot. I was gone about 220, 230 nights a year in my previous job. I would come home. I knew my wife and daughter kind of, but I would come home and I didn't know the neighbors. The dog certainly didn't know me. He'd bark at me every time I came home. It wasn't a good situation that I was in. You know, when you don't know your neighbors, you don't know the folks that live around you, it's a different thing. I started thinking about, how do I want to finish the last half of my career? And I started thinking about the fact that insurance was something I'd done before. And I wanted to come back and build a business on with a local community that would be ongoing, hopefully for 20 or 30 years. When I looked at that, I said, okay, how do I do that? And networking made a lot of sense to me for all those reasons that we just talked about. I think that for me to change from not knowing, I knew one of my 6 neighbors directly around me. You know, today I know all my neighbors, but I also know a whole lot of people in other neighborhoods. And to be able to do that is a big change of mindset, because you've got to change the way you're doing things. So networking, that first networking group I joined, I said, I'm just going to give this a go. I met some great people at that first meeting. A bunch of them are still friends of mine. Some of them are still clients of mine. And I look at that and I go, you know, we built our team and we're still going. That Tuesday morning meeting still meets. It's in a different location, but we still
Oh,
meet
the Hazeldale group.
Hazeldale group.
Oh, okay,
We used to meet at the Fireside Inn, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago now. But great people. So that first year, I said, I'm going to commit to doing 2 networking meetings a week. I did an I Take the Lead group, which I think is one of the better groups you can join. I also joined a free group. And the free group, well, I'll just say that you usually get what you pay for in a free group. A lot of times those folks aren't that serious about doing networking. And a lot of times you'll find that they're not very serious about showing up. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But that first year I track things because I'm kind of that guy, right? I like to know what I'm doing and how it's working. So I went to 2 meetings every week. I don't think I missed but maybe 1 week the whole year. I didn't do much in the groups. I kind of held back. I was trying to see what would happen. I gave about 4 leads. It may have been 5, but I gave leads to people. And, you know, being an insurance agent, you're in a lucky spot. Everybody needs insurance. So I did get 15 referrals or leads that first year. Out of those 15 referrals that I got, I had 12 new clients that actually did business with me. Now, I thought that was a pretty good way to start when you consider that I was paying not a whole lot of money. I was spending a little bit of time. I wouldn't have been doing anything else in the morning anyway, because there's not much you do at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I know.
Go to a meeting, right? So it was a great opportunity to go out and turn that hour and 2 hours a week into something that made some money for me. You know, I'll fast forward because obviously there's a few years in the middle here, but I just got done looking at 2017. And I've upped my game over the years, added, subtracted, changed some of the meetings I go to. But right now, in 2017, I was going to 5 networking meetings a week. I have a leadership role in every one of those meetings that I go to. Does that take me a lot of time? Not really. A couple of meetings I go to, I am the leader and it takes a little more time, but for the most part, it's no more time than just going to the meeting and being there every time. That's really important. But by getting in that leadership position, all of a sudden I'm able to know people better. I'm able to help them better. And I tracked 27 referrals that I gave.
Oh, very nice. Okay.
But I also learned something about this process that's a little bit different. And that is that I was able to connect people. Now, connecting people lots of times isn't what we would call a warm referral or a warm lead. A connection is saying, hey, you know, you 2 people are great folks. I like you both. I think you have some things in common that you can do business with. And lots of times that works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they'll meet. Maybe it's a graphic designer and a web designer. Makes a lot of sense to me. Maybe they have some things that don't match up. But lots of times it does work. So I really look at that as a bigger way of doing business for me today, is connecting those power partners. And if I can get a lead, I certainly give them. Never a doubt about that. But that connection has become the true focus of what I do.
Absolutely.
How can I connect people, right? So last year, and I may have a couple leads here I haven't kept track of, right? I changed business systems mid-year, and I've got everything through April, then I've got from June on. So the month of May is kind of a blank to me. But I know I tracked 112 referrals last year, and I know that I had 97 clients last year, new clients. Now, the majority of those clients have come from a dozen or so referral partners, but there's a bunch in there that also came from, you know, onesie twosies. There are people who said, you know, I really like you, I want to do business with you. Or they say, I really like you, my dad or my mom or whoever. They need to do business with you. I think that's important to understand, that you're going to find power partners as you do this, and they're going to become major sources of leads for you. And that's kind of what's happened to me. Mortgage brokers, in my business, mortgage brokers are some of the best leads because they are usually at a spot where they're closing a loan and they need to have an insurance policy today. So,
and I want to stop you there because I know that Lynn can really speak on that a lot. Power partners is that if you can connect power partners with each other, that is the best kind of lead there is. It's not direct business, but those other power partners can lead to many leads. So by Jeff connecting 72 power partners, it could have led to literally hundreds and hundreds of leads for those businesses.
That's way more valuable than just a referral. Absolutely.
Exactly. And I did notice, because somebody asked, how do you start a paid group? You don't usually start one. I don't know what area you're in. I noticed that Alan, this is at the chat, Jeff, at the bottom. I noticed Alan asked you what state. I know I Take the Lead is in Oregon, Washington, and Colorado. If you are in a different state, you can look around. You can Google and see if you have a BNI or other leads group organizations where there is a fee to join. There are some regional leads groups and some very large leads group organizations, but I would find a leads group organization if that's what you're interested in. So I just wanted to respond to that before Jeff moves on.
And Jeff, the leadership role is very important too. I do that. It makes life more interesting if you take the leadership role. People look at you differently. It's like doing guest speaker meetings. You're not just in it for your business. You're in there to help the entire community. It makes a huge difference.
That's right. Thanks for the great segue there, Lynn.
Yeah.
The idea of taking a leadership role in a group doesn't take much time. For most groups, you're going to spend just a few more minutes, maybe be there 10 minutes early and 10 minutes after to help get things going or you help get everything shut down. But the idea of doing that is just so important because, people know, like, and trust leaders. When you're standing up in front of a group or helping facilitate the group, whatever the format is, people start to look at you and they go, oh, I know him because he's standing up there and making himself vulnerable in front of this group. That's important for a lot of reasons. One, it makes you a better leader when you do that. But secondly, people feel like, wow, if he can do it, I can do it. I'm not a perfect speaker. I make mistakes. People can laugh. Well, okay.
I think that's my job.
That's right. People can laugh. People can have fun. And, the leaders in a group normally get leads. I do another type of group. It's Rotary, and I'm president in a Rotary club right now. And I've noticed this year, since I've been doing that my leads within the group and people sending leads to me have tripled. It's amazing how that works.
Oh,
it's
wow. Very nice.
You go from 1 to 3, it's great, right? The other thing that's really important is I started to give more referrals.
Yeah.
When you really start to trust those people you work with every week and you meet with every week, you're able to give more referrals. Sometimes those aren't, as we talked about, hot leads. They're not somebody that needs to buy today, but sometimes it's a general contractor and a roofer or a painter, or, you can match these folks up and really help them to work with each other. Connecting people every chance you get. Even if it's off the wall. I'll come home from a meeting where we have a guest at a meeting and I'll pull out my stack of business cards. I keep a stack of business cards, a nice stack of business cards. I'll pull out a stack of business cards and I'll go through there and say, who can I connect this person with right now before I forget? So that connection is really important. If I can meet somebody today at 7:30 in the morning and by noon I've sent them somebody that I think they can work with, that's going to make them feel good. But it's also going to give them a reason to come back because they're going to sit there and go, wow, this group's really active. This group's really good. That Jeff, he's a good guy. I owe him, right? Not really owe me, but yeah, you know what I mean. And then changing your mindset from giving and receiving. That's what we talk about, right? I give a lead, I get a lead, but change it to learning and connecting. Because when you learn about people, when you sit down with them, have a little one-on-one coffee date with them, learn about them and learn how they do things, why they do things, and what they do. It's totally different than saying, how does this product work and why? I mean, even that's hard. But when you understand why the person does what they do, it's much easier to connect with them and much easier to refer to them. So the 5 tips that I want to share, and I think they're pretty simple, but again, if you have a question, holler, stop me. First one is to sign up. Commit this year in 2018 to joining 2 networking groups and going to them every week. That doesn't mean the membership rules say I can miss one week a month. That doesn't mean scheduling something else. I know Lynn's famous for that. He puts it in his calendar for infinity out there that he's going to that networking meeting. That's so important to do. Put it in there. You're going to go every week. And then part of that is finding a group that meets at a place and a time that makes sense for you.
Exactly.
We see that all the time. Somebody in our area, somebody will say, well, yeah, that driving 50 miles each way once a week for an hour meeting, it won't bother me. I'll be fine. And we never see them again.
Or the other thing is they join knowing that they're going to miss once a month.
That's right.
So
and the once turns into 2 or 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't set yourself up for failure, right?
Exactly.
In my coaching career, the guy I used to work with in coaching, a guy by the name of Bob Proctor, he always said, make a plan, do it, but make it reasonable, right? Don't try to tell yourself you're going to fly to California once a week for a meeting. You're not going to do it. Just don't plan on it, Make it reasonable and make it make sense. Find some groups that have power partners. Now, in I Take the Lead, obviously, we have the 4 pillars of I Take the Lead that really kind of power partner together. When you look at a financial planner, you look at an insurance agent, a mortgage broker, and a real estate agent, those 4 people being in a group, that can be a tremendous power team. Last 3 years, we've been doing first-time buyers classes once a month with that group of 4 people in one of my groups. It's tremendous amount of people come to me from that particular activity just by putting those 4 professionals together. You don't have to be an insurance agent to do that. It might be, a massage therapist, a chiropractor, and a naturopath. It could be a combination of any 4 power partners that you can find. And if you don't know what those are, we can help you with that, because that's something membership coordinators, Becky, we all have a list, and we know what a normal power partner might be for the business you're in. Just ask us, we'll tell you. That's not going to cost you anything, right?
Absolutely.
And then find groups that'll help you build your business. Over the past 5 years, I've joined groups. I say, oh, this is really cool. They do a book study every week, or they do a book every month, and they get together. Some of those groups, people have a different idea of what that's about. Sometimes it's social, and there's nothing wrong with a social group. Mm-mm. But if you're joining a group, one of these 2 committed groups, you want to make sure that they are business oriented, and they're going to help you grow your business. Growing yourself's good, and growing it in the right way is better. But to grow your business is really important. Because you're not going to be around too long if you join a group and you never get anything out of it. Almost guarantee you that you'll be moving on and saying this didn't work. Networking doesn't work. How many times have we heard that?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. And it's key to give it enough time. A lot of people leave prematurely right before the leads start.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You probably remember, Lynn, that first year I was in a group with you, and I don't think I got a lead out of that group. But then things changed. My business changed.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it turned around.
Yeah.
It's really important. So tip number 2 is to show up.
Oh, yeah.
We've said this enough. I don't need to say it again, but be at every meeting. Plan to be there at least 10 minutes early and stay at least 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
So why would you do that? Well, to me, it's pretty simple. You're going to be there a little bit early, so if anybody new shows up, they're probably going to be early because nobody wants to be late to their first meeting. Gives you a chance to meet them, talk to them a little bit, maybe schedule a coffee date later in the day or a couple days later. And then when the meeting gets going, you can actually make them feel a little more comfortable, right? Because they're going to be able to do that. They're going to feel like, oh, at least I know Jeff.
They've been greeted.
Exactly. Same thing after the meeting. the easiest time to meet with somebody is to say, let's take 30 minutes after the meeting, have a cup of coffee and get to know each other. That's just a great, easy way to do it. You're already there. Chances are you've already got a cup of coffee if it's a breakfast meeting, right? You don't have to pay for another one. Great time to do it. And just plan on it every week to be early and stay late. Sounds kind of counterintuitive maybe, but it's something you really need to do. And then
and to add to that, whoops, sorry, my cat's in the way. To add to that though, at least for I Take the Lead, the meetings only last an hour.
Right.
Where some organizations, they last an hour and a half or more. So it's, even by doing that, it's still under an hour and a half that you're taking out of your day to do that.
And still before 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah,
How many of us go to the office before 9? I mean,
yeah.
just the way it is. When you show up, make sure you're prepared and attentive. I love these people that go to their networking meeting and all you see is this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But they find those Pokemon Go's.
I am taking notes. I'm just doing it on my phone.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. No. Be attentive.
Some are, but yeah.
Bring, what they call a salesman without a pen. Broke. Bring a pen with you.
Yeah.
Bring a piece of paper with you. I always carry those two things in my pocket. Write stuff down. When somebody's talking and explaining their business for 10 minutes, write something down. If they didn't bring a lead generation form, bring a piece of paper. Make sure you write it down. Help them out, because you're going to remember what they said if you write it down. Guarantee you, in 2 weeks, you won't remember what they said if you haven't written anything down. And then look at your meetings as training your sales force. It's no different than having a sales meeting. I've spent a lot of years in sales management. I got together with my guys once a week, guys and gals, once a week, and said, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do it, and this is why we do it. Now let me tell you about what we're doing, right? This is what I do. This is why I do it, and this is how I do it. And now they can understand. If you knew that your insurance agent, if it was me, wasn't ever going to call you back, and all I was ever going to do was text you, and you don't have a cell phone, would you refer me to somebody without a cell phone? Probably not, right? So now you understand how I do business. I call you back within 8 business hours. That's a good thing. You understand that because I've told you. You wouldn't know that if I hadn't. And finally, we talked about this one too. If you're going to show up, just become a leader. It doesn't take much more time. We need leaders. Every group needs a leader.
Or multiple leaders.
Multiple.
So yes.
Yeah, we need more than
lots
one.
of opportunity.
You're right.
There are lots of roles. In fact, being a leader, one part of that is if somebody in the group is fairly new and they're struggling a little bit with their presentation, you've gotten to know them. You can help push them on track and remind them of things that are going to be helpful for everybody else to know.
That's
right. So if you learn what's going on, you can help them stay on track, help them become better networks. And I think that's also something, it's really, leaders should be doing that.
Every time, Lynn. Great. Thanks for throwing that in there. So tip number 3 is Meetup. That's not the website. You can use that website. Maybe some of you came through that. But Meetup, in my mind, is setting up one-on-one meetings with everybody you meet. Not just your group, but everybody you meet. But let's just talk about your group for a minute. If you have a group that you've been going to for more than a few months and you haven't had a chance to sit down one-on-one with each of those people, you're wasting some great opportunity. You really want to learn about those folks. The reason you want to learn about them is pretty simple. You want to learn so you can know, like, and trust. That's what we all want. We want that sphere of influence that says people will do business with me. They know, like, and trust me, and I know, like, and trust them. It doesn't work too well if you don't do that. So make sure you meet up. You want to learn about them. You want to keep it short and meaningful. If these meetings go on for an hour over coffee and all of a sudden you're talking about football, you're talking about kids, you're talking about dogs, you're talking about whatever it is, real quickly you lose a lot of the effect that a first meeting can have. You want to keep it short, keep it meaningful. Never do a sales pitch at a first meeting. These meetings, 15, 20 minutes tops. You can schedule 2 in an hour. If you wanted to spend an hour a week doing this, you could meet 2 people very easily, same location, tell them where you're going to be. I'm going to be at Starbucks on Main Street at this time. I want to see you at 10:05. I want to see the other person at 10:35. You schedule those 2 meetings in there, and you get through it because you know you got somebody coming, right?
Right.
If you're going to do a sales pitch, our good friend Ronnie Noyce always tells the story. If you're going to do a sales pitch, meet them back at 3:30 in the afternoon and push as hard as you want. But don't confuse a meeting date with a sales date. They're 2 different things. You'll blow it if you do that. Connect everyone you meet with at least one other person immediately. I call it meet one to connect one. I try to send 2 connections to every person I meet within 24 hours.
Oh,
I usually
That's awesome.
I usually try to do it before when I get back because I get busy. And I can't do it. But I keep that stack of business cards, and I keep them right here. These are the folks I've met in the last month, and I want to refer to them immediately, so they're able to get that connection going, and we can get them going in not just I take the lead, but in their business. I want to see their business grow. I want to connect them with power partners. So when you get maybe the Christmas was a great opportunity for you. You didn't have much going on. Take that stack of business cards, go through them. Who haven't I met? Drop them a quick email, give them a call. How does that work? It's really easy. When you call somebody up, if I called you up, Lynn, and said, hey, Lynn, I want to sit down and have coffee with you. Do you have time for me to sit down and learn about you and how you do business?
Of course.
You'd probably say yes.
Yeah.
If I said, Lynn, I want to sit down with you and tell you about my business.
I would probably say yes.
You probably would. A lot of people, maybe myself included, that wouldn't. Not quite as nice as you. I like to approach people with the standpoint of, I want to learn about you so that I can help you, versus I want to meet with you and tell you about me. You get a chance to do both things, right, in that meeting. Yeah. But definitely look at it from the standpoint, I want to learn. And then no process is ever any good if you don't follow up.
Absolutely.
A little disclaimer, anytime you send somebody a newsletter or subscribe them to your blog or whatever you're going to do, ask, right? Don't just do it. Nothing makes me madder than when I met with somebody, we didn't talk about it, and all of a sudden I'm getting their newsletter 3 times a week.
Or I'm added to their Facebook group and I don't know them.
Exactly. I mean, it's frustrating for us. I mean, we get enough stuff going anyway. If I want to be on your newsletter, I'll say yes. But ask me, right? Make sure you follow up. Make sure you have some way to follow up with them. Keep track of what you're doing. Keep track of who you're giving referrals to. Keep track of what they're giving you. Write it down. I've got something here at the end I'm gonna give you if you want it.
Oh,
but
very nice.
Having a form to do that and having a way to do that is so important. And it's something that even an old dog needs, because I'll forget. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting older. I have a hard time remembering if I did something if I don't write it down. So definitely want to write it down. And then I try to do this. I'm not always great at it, but I think it really works well. Is every 4 months or so, 4 to 6 months, I give them a call and just see how they're doing. Lots of times when you call that 4-month mark, maybe they're doing a different business. Maybe they've had some changes in their life, but hopefully they're still doing what they're doing. If they're an I Take the Lead member, they probably are doing what they're doing. But we meet a lot of people that are struggling. They're having a hard time getting going. And if I can call them, talk to them, and say, hey, how's it going? How's that new business? Let's connect. That will help them too, because when you follow back around, maybe you can give them some constructive ideas to help them get going. Really important. Follow back around. Make sure you know who you're talking to and what they're doing. Nothing worse. Last week, week before last, I broke the screen on my phone. We won't go there. Slipped, fell on the ice, broke the screen on my phone. I'm getting old. But when I broke the screen on my phone, I picked it, went through my cards. Oh, here's a guy that does phone repair. I hadn't talked to him in about a year. Never came back to the meeting that he came to. I called the number. It says, our store is permanently closed. Bummer, right? My fault. I never called and knew that. I spent half a day trying to track him down. I had to find his card. Really important to stay in touch with folks. And then once a year, I try to schedule that 15, 20-minute coffee meeting to sit down and update my form so that I know what's going on. What's changed? What's new? Have they added things to what they're doing? Have they quit doing certain things? Did they have a baby? Did they get married? What's happened in the world? It's nice to know that. So when you refer to somebody, I like to put some of that personal info in there, right?
Right, yeah.
Jeff, when you follow up with people, especially if they've had a family change, that's when they say, oh, I was thinking about you. Do you know somebody? I need to get life insurance now because I have a baby. Or it creates opportunities to refer people out.
Yeah, last week I had a good friend called and said, I need to get car insurance. I said, do you have a car insurance? And she said, not anymore. I'm not married anymore. So, things happen. And that's part of the deal. That's part of life. So it's nice to be able to follow up with them. Finally, the fifth tip I'd say is party up.
Yeah.
Have a reason, have a cause. I Take the Lead does a great job of this. When you're more than just a networking group, and I'd say Rotary also, because I'll push that one a little bit too. Exactly. But when you have a cause, when you have a reason for more than just meeting or more than just social, you become a deeper, more intense group, and you get to know each other better. That cause, and I Take the Lead, we have 2 great fundraisers every year for a cause, and it really helps. And as we build those groups and we really have a reason to be there other than just to network or just to party or just to be social, whatever that is, it changes the way we work. It changes our mindset, because as we give, we want to give back, right? And I think that's so important. It's how we become so strong. And of course, celebrate the victories. You gotta celebrate with your team. We've been doing something in my networking, my 4 groups, 3 last year, 4 this year, that we do a little goal setting exercise in January and February, and then we track them during the year. And there's nothing more fun than when somebody comes in and says, hey, I had this goal on my list half this year and I just accomplished it. Wow, that's a lot of fun. That's, you have those celebrations together, you share in a way, maybe you couldn't even tell your spouse that, that you just hit this goal in your mind, that your business went to the next level, or you made this certain sale that you wanted to make. When you do those things, those victories, to share them with your closest group of advisors and friends and business partners, wow, it's a lot of fun. I see a lot of that. I love that about I Take the Lead. Is so many of my weekly networking partners, we're having a great time and they're telling us about their big wins. It's a wonderful thing.
Very cool.
Can do that a lot of ways, right? Mixers, parties, gatherings. Some folks will have an open house. When I moved into my office here, was that 3 years ago? We had about 65 people in my little 800 square foot office that showed up to party up. And we had a good time.
I was one of them. I did too, yeah.
You were there?
Yeah.
It was a great time. We had a great time that night. But, when you have a celebration, bring your networking team in. Have a lot of fun with them. It's customer celebrations. Bring your team members in. We had a mixer a while back at somebody's office, new office. She invited a bunch of her customers, invited her networking team. And guess what? A lot of us met new customers that night, because there's not a better way to meet people than when you're having a little drink and maybe some fun and some food, right? It's a great time.
And I'll say, as a leader of a group, if you have new people show up at those, take time and introduce people around. You're going to get more valuable helping other people meet than you are even doing it yourself.
That's right. Exactly right. So just in summary, for a couple of things here, you need to have a plan to network. Not planning networking is doesn't work. You have to say, I'm going to go do this. You have to make a plan. Make that plan this year. I challenge you. I'll be your coach this year. I'll challenge you to join 2 groups and go every week. And if you need a mentor, just email me. I'll help you. But you need to do that. Have a plan to network. It should be fun, and it should be with a purpose. Just to go have fun doesn't do it, okay? But if you have a purpose, whether it's to grow your business, to do good in the world, to help other people, and to grow your business, that all makes sense, because that's what we're here for, right? And then be patient. Lynn brought this up before, and it's just really true. There's times when you haven't come up with quite the right education to get the leads yet, maybe you have to refine what you're talking about a little bit. Maybe you have to look at things a little bit differently. We all want to sell, but how often do we not turn around in our minds and we think about how does this help the people we're trying to sell to? When you turn from benefits or from features to benefits, totally different thing, right? So make sure you're patient. So many times I've seen people drop out of networking, and the next week somebody comes with a lead slip and says, hey, I got this lead slip for Jim. Where is he? Oh, he resigned.
Oh, he's gone.
He
Yeah.
resigned last week. Yeah, I don't know where he is.
And realize that it might take 3 or 4 presentations for your teammates to all of a sudden have that aha moment. Oh, this is a lead for you.
Exactly. It takes a while. And sometimes if we haven't been networking before, we don't know how to educate people to do that.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You know, we have to learn too. It's a two-way street. So ask for help, right? Ask for help. And then sometimes you find a group just doesn't work. I mentioned when I first started networking, I was going to 2 free groups. The one group used to be on Monday at noon. It still meets, actually. That group did not work. Most of the people in there were there for the fact that they could say, I did networking, honey, and check off the box. Those folks, lots of times, just can't, you know, they show up 5 minutes late. They leave when the bell rings, when lunch is over or breakfast is over. You never get a chance to meet them because they're always too busy, and that's tough. If you find a group like that, just understand not all groups are like that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, next is the word to explain to that one. But if it doesn't work, find another one. There's more out there. You know, what you really want to do is have fun, enjoy networking, and make lots of new friends. I go back to 2012 when I started out of my corporate job into this business. I knew one neighbor. Today, I was counting the other day. I've got 246 business cards that I keep, you know, a stack of for people. So I know at least 246 people well enough to do that. I have another 500 cards or so that I probably haven't connected with as well as I want to. But when you can start to look at that and say, I've gone from 1 to 200 in a couple of years, and it's really a good thing. Because if they know you and they like you, it's going to be good for both of you, right? You're going to have some good things. And then just remember, know, like, and trust. If you ever get stuck networking or in business even, just go back to that basics and figure out, how do I get people to know, like, and trust me? Because I really think that's the bottom line. We can refer to people that we know, like, and trust, and people refer to us when we know, like, and trust. So whether it's sitting down with them, meeting with them on a regular basis, getting to know them, it's all important. Open it up for some questions, and I want to, if you're interested, I have a nice form I use. It's a really good way to sit down with somebody in a coffee date and get through it in 15 minutes and keep on track. And it gives you some tracking and some ideas of how to help them. I'd be happy to send that to me if you just send me an email.
Very nice. And it's Jeff at jeffmays.us.
Yeah, I'm using that one because the insurance one gets so busy.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I had. If you have any questions.
Okay, so now we can open it up. So Jeff, can you unshare your screen so we can open it up?
My screen.
I know, but we need to do that too. So we had quite a bit of chatting going on. I want to check from me to everyone. Okay, yeah, and Lynn pointed this out. Lynn's been a member 14 years, I think.
At least,
yeah, at least 14, maybe 15 years. And he stays in touch with people he met years ago. Tracy, we answered that. How do you start a paid networking group? You go find one. Now, you're all on here either because you're already a member with I Take the Lead, you are on Meetup, and you found this through Meetup, which means that there are other leads groups on Meetup. No, regardless of what area you're in, if there's no I Take the Lead. If there's an I Take the Lead, of course, we want you to touch bases with us. And you all have my email. So if you are in Oregon, if you're in Washington or Colorado, you can email me and I'll connect you to Alan or Gene or whoever and help you out. Nevada, yeah, Nevada has leads groups. Showing up is half the battle. Oh boy, isn't that the truth? So Alan, I have a one-on-one interview sheet. Oh, based on Ronnie's networking. And then who runs the group in Vegas, and is this paid for? Rodell, we have a meetup, but we don't have any leads groups in Nevada, in Vegas specifically. We were, at some point we probably will. We did try to start a couple groups and it didn't work out. But there are other leads groups in Nevada, if that helps answer your questions. So at this time, we're going to open it up. If anybody, oh, my cat, I've got to have him get down. Sorry. So I'm going to open it up. If you have questions for Jeff, and of course, Lynn's on here, and then Alan as well. Alan is just kicking Heine in Colorado. He's here somewhere. So you can either, I think you can unmute yourself if you want to ask the questions, or you can write your questions over here on the chat. Okay, watching my cat. The Zoom group chat, if everybody can see it to the right. I know Denise is a new member. Denise, did you get any good info out of this today? And she's with Farmers. Jeff, I know you started with Farmers originally.
I did, yeah.
Can you chat, Denise? Can you say anything? Oh, let me unmute you and see.
She replied on the chat too.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, and I unmuted you. Yeah. So yeah.
And it was good.
Oh, good. Okay. Okay. Did you have anything you want to say, or?
No, I mean,
I don't want to
it
put you
all
on the
seems to
spot.
make sense. It all seems to make sense. It's just a matter of implementing it all.
I know. And I would say, and I'd say Jeff would say this too, one step at a time. Denise is new to her industry, insurance, brand new to the group, but she's a natural networker. And I already asked her to be a co-director. So this is what Jeff is saying. Step up, be a leader, and you'll have instant credibility when people come to the meeting, because it's a small group, so we'll be growing it. So you'll be getting a lot of guests.
You don't get to know the people who don't show up, or who show up and sit at the end of the table and play on their cell phone. If you show up and you're active and participate, people get to know you. They want to know more about you, and you build friendships, and things happen.
You know, and the other part of that, Lynn, and I know we know this, but you know, if you can take that person that's playing on their cell phone out for coffee, get them turned around, it really turns out better.
Do a little coaching, and I'm going to say something. I've done networking for a long time, and you said something today that really was good. I try to follow up with people, but I like the idea of trying to make at least one or two connections within 24 hours. What a great thought. So that's something I hadn't thought of. So an old dog learning a new trick.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
And Andy, I put Jeff's email out again. What he wants you to use is jeff@jeffmays.us, not .com.us. So I posted that out there.
Thank you.
And so let me see. All that tracking I would find difficult. No, you didn't talk too much, Denise. Can't you unmute yourself? Oh, no? Oh, okay, go ahead.
There you go. Now I'm unmuted.
Yeah, you're unmuted. So, okay. So Andy, so I posted it again. Ashley Brown says, I agree with that. I haven't found a good way to track leads given and received. So I know Jeff has that. I know Alan has a form that he uses to meet with people. And let's see.
One note on that too, I wanted to throw in is when you meet with anybody one-on-one, especially if you belong to a leads group, speak up at your next meeting and introduce that person, because you might actually say something that will catch somebody else's attention in there and really grab their attention, help spread those referrals. We have a bookkeeper in one of our groups here in Colorado that she changed her focus from one particular business to food trucks, and introducing her to another group and saying, hey, I've known Stacy for a little over a year now, and she's changed her focus to food trucks. She's actually I believe she's actually gotten some business out of that, and she's gotten some referrals from that. So it kind of piques everyone's curiosity and allows them to kind of tune in a little more when you introduce that person you had that one-on-one with.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Good
great
tip.
tip. Yeah. Oh, Ray's here. Huh.
Hi,
You're
Vic.
unmuted. Hi, Ray.
Yeah, I'm here.
Did you have a question?
Well, we had a meeting this morning, and Kevin is our coordinator. And he had a couple great ideas. He went through because we had 2 new guests. So he went through all the basics for new members or new potential members.
Okay.
So interesting, all the ideas we shared. And I think it gets the people a lot more excited when they see all the potential of everything we do for people.
Oh, good. I'll give Kevin an attaboy then. Very good. Well, thank you. I probably not pronouncing this name very well. Lachlan. Where do I find more information about I Take the Lead? We actually have a website. It's called itakethelead.com. But you'll also have my email when I send you the replay. The replay goes out within 24 hours to everybody who's registered here or been on here. Oh, Bree, I didn't see you here. Oh, Kareem Mills is here. So it will go out to you when I send the replay. And then you can ask me some information. I don't know if we have if I Take the Lead is in your area or not. Morgan Witherspoon, love all the information. Follow-up is a major key. I like that one. People go through phases in their life, and when you first call, they may be good, but when you follow up 3 to 6 months later, things can really change. I absolutely. And I've got to mention, Jeff, do you use a CRM to cue you into when to follow up, or do you just do that on your own?
I do use a CRM, Becky.
Okay.
I can't do it with my head anymore.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, because Alan's big on the CRMs, and I've got my own system on email, but I'm really good at following up with people as well. So, but I think the CRMs make it easier and automate it for you. So let's see. I've got to watch the time too. We're almost done. So are there any other last minute questions? Any other last minute words of advice from anybody? Or it's nice to see so many people.
If you're not networking and find a couple groups and go visit them, you'll find the right fit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't reinforce that enough, Lynn. Sometimes it takes half a dozen to find the right one, but there's one out there.
Yeah, and for all of you who are members of I Take the Lead, I think it's sad when people, unlike Jeff, they decide their group isn't working for them. It's not a good connection for them. Don't give up. Bree, as a matter of fact, just transferred recently. She found that the group she was with just wasn't going to cut it. I found her another group. So come to us before you quit, because we might be able to find you a better group that's going to work better for you, maybe your schedule, whatever, or just the people. I mean, our people in general are good, but they're not the right fit for everybody. There are certain people that would never join Lynn's group because he has us laughing all the time, and some people don't like that.
There's been some people that absolutely, I can tell right away, they don't want to be near me.
Lynn's kind of the class clown of I Take the Lead, but we always have fun at his meetings. So, anyway.
Real quick, I did want to throw something else in too.
Yeah.
For those that don't belong to I Take the Lead and are looking for groups in their areas, ask questions, ask a lot of questions, especially membership requirements. It's one thing to pay dues. It's another thing to actually have requirements to maintain your membership, especially, referral requirements, guest requirements, anything along that line. Because a lot of those groups, they'll get bound up in those requirements and they'll lose focus on the actual purpose of being there, which is networking. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah, ask lots of questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I take the lead requirements are pretty easy going. So, San Diego, we don't have any groups in San Diego at this time, Morgan. And if you Google networking groups or leads groups with the zip code, they'll pop up, and then you can start your homework at that point. For all of you, if you are outside of those 3 states, that's what I recommend. Hopefully, I Take the Lead does plan to go to those areas, but we grow through franchising, so we'll have to wait till we have leadership in those territories that I didn't already mention, which is Washington, Oregon, and Colorado. So I want to especially thank Jeff. Thank you so much for sharing your tips and wisdom with us. I know I always get a lot out of it when you speak. Jeff also does other presentations and is one of our special guest speakers at different groups. And thank you to Alan and Lynn and everybody who's been on here. We appreciate it. Remember, Jeff's email is jeff@jeffmays.us, and I know he'd gladly answer any questions you have. He's also always hiring good insurance agents. I like to send those to him as well when they're unhappy. So I'm going to end the meeting. It's 4 o'clock on the dot. I will be sending everybody the replay. And again, I want to thank everybody. And I'm ending it and see you next webinar. Thank you.
Thanks, gang.
Thanks, Becky.
Becky.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.